Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by, and today we're going to check out a fuzz. So today we are checking out from Way Huge the Conquistador Fuzz Distortion. Now this is a gated fuzz pedal released by Dunlop or Way Huge, and it was in production from around 2017 to 2021. So yes, that is the sad news of today. This pedal, the Conquistador, is no longer in production, which I think is a real shame actually. I haven't read into why they stopped production of these units. Maybe they weren't that popular, maybe they were just flew a bit under the radar, or maybe Way Huge just like to keep their catalogue sort of, you know, chopping and changing. I have no idea. Now, before we go any further, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel navigate the world of YouTube. Maybe even if you're feeling a bit zesty, hit the notification bell as well, and that will let you know when I've uploaded another video. So yes, the Way Huge, really gnarly fuzz pedal. As I said, it is gated, and that's one of my favourite things, or that's one of my favourite features with a fuzz pedal, is when they're gated. So you can get a really high, aggressive, loud, crushing sound, but as soon as that gate closes again, it's quiet. I think it really adds something slightly different in terms of dynamics to a fuzz pedal. Of course, it doesn't really do the rolling off on the volume as well as some other pedals like a fuzz face. However, I don't think when you're running this kind of pedal, you are really going for that kind of rolling off to get a bit of a clean sound. So I think, you know, I've kind of talked a little bit about this pedal, but realistically, the best thing that I can do is plug this in, get a guitar, and just show you how it sounds. So I will see you in a second, ready to go. Right, we're back, we're set up, and we're all ready to go. So as always, what I'm going to very quickly do is just run through the other gear that we've got set up today, just so you're aware. So we're going through the Hanson S style. Personally, the reason for this is I feel that single coils show off the characteristics of a distortion road drive pedal slightly better than humbuckers, just my personal opinion. That's the reason that we've got this guitar, and I also know it inside and out, so it's just quite a nice one for me to be able to play. Plethora of tones coming from a set of single coils. Then we're going through a practical patch cable into the Conquistador, then practical patch cable out, and we're going into a channel 1 of the Victory Kraken today. So the clean tone sounds a little bit like this. So, a little bit of breakup when I dig in there, but mostly clean. A couple of notable mentions. You've got the pedal being powered by the Voodoo Labs Pedal Power Plus 2, and then it's also sat on a Marcus Deluxe pedal board for easy reach. Then we do have a Torpedo Captor X going straight into the interface. So I think that's it really. So we'll get rid of the microphone, we'll turn this on, and we'll see how it sounds. So that was the Way Huge Conquistador. Quite a nasty, gnarly, fuzzy sounding box of fun, to be honest. I could have sat and noodled for God knows how long. I really could have just kept playing. It's great fun. There are obviously some drawbacks in terms of what you can and can't do with this pedal, as you heard when I was trying to do some legato style, quicker lead kind of things. Very quickly, especially with a single coil guitar, the note started to die off. That sustain isn't there as the gate cuts back in, but then I would say it is a heavy riffing, rolling, fuzzy bass kind of pedal. It's not something that I'm going to look to try and use as my main lead tone. Thought there were a couple of really cool sounds in there as well, especially when you brought the tone all the way up and you got that sort of old style radio where you've really lost all of that bass. Kind of guitar fuzz tone. Thought that was really cool. Thought that there could be some. I appreciate it's kind of a one sound. That sound is sort of like one bit. So unless you've got this on a board in front of you with your ability to sort of fiddle between songs, that's not necessarily a sound that you're going to want for more than one part of one song. However, if that becomes integral to that part of your set, it's a great pedal to have on the board. I've actually kind of just playing it there and I've wondered why this came off my board. I do know why, but it's not saying that it's not going to go back on there at speed, especially with everything that you seem to be doing with switches, etc., with extensions. So we'll see where this one ends up. However, I hope that's been a very quick overview and a look at the Way Huge Conquistador. If you're interested at all, go out into the world of Reverb, eBay, Facebook Marketplace and see if you can pick one up secondhand, because I would recommend having something like this in your arsenal, especially if maybe not for live, but for a studio recording situation. It's a great tone to have at your disposal. So thank you very much for sticking with me. If you've made it this far, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's helped, maybe even kind of answer some questions for you about this pedal. And until the next one,